This class is English 101, Composition and Communication 1. It is 3 credit hours. It requires that you have taken certain placement classes in high school, or perhaps a placement test for the university, or have taken an English 100 class. Typically, students in this class are working towards their foundational courses. So typically they are freshmen. This course is often followed with English 102. This class will be online, so we will not have particular meeting times, but we will definitely have set due dates, and we may or may not have some particular times for you to be online if that works for the whole class. Knowing that you have so many outside responsibilities, I try not to have any required times for you, only required activities to be completed. The class officially begins on August 19th, although I will have the class published 2 weeks before that date, and your actual first assignment will not be due until the following Sunday. It ends on October 4th. All college classes, there is a general expectation that students will need to spend 2 hours out of class for every hour in class. Therefore, a 3 credit hour class such as this one, students should expect to work approximately 6 hours per week outside of class, along with the 3 hours you spend inside of class. That means if you're taking a class like ours that is in double time, this could potentially take up to 18 hours of your week. Right here you can see that my full name is Charity Yost Reed. I have an MFA on the end of my name, which means Master of Fine Arts. My email address, notice, is CYReed. C Reed goes to someone else. The best way to contact me during this course is on Canvas Message. In an online course, if anything at all can be publicly posted, I would much rather you post as a discussion so that the whole class can see my answer. However, if you need to ask me something personal, go ahead and message me. Canvas sends me notifications. I do not get immediate notifications from my email address. I always respond to Canvas messages faster than emails. It's the most professional form of communication for things like documents or whatever you need that might be for the university. Definitely email me, those sorts of things. You're not going to bug me with your Canvas messages. It will bug me if you just go straight to calling me, or texting me. Do not text me at all. I just don't find that to be professional. But if you are having an emergency, you are welcome to call my cell phone. I will not answer because I do not have your phone number, but you can leave a voicemail and I'll know it's you and I'll call you back. So the purpose of this course is, according to our course catalog, is entry into academic discourse through topics of cultural and civic importance and introduction to the fundamentals of college composition, including the writing process, argument, critical reading and thinking skills, research methods, conventions of academic writing, use of technology in the writing process, and oral presentation skills. That perfectly describes everything we are going to do in this class. That last one is especially focused on in English 102, but we go ahead and wade in the collaboration process through peer review in 101, and then in 102 you actually have a group project. Course learning goals. Then we have IDEA course objectives. Typically I give reading assignments, and then I hope that you are actively listening to my online videos and actively reading my instructions online, that you are turning in all the assignments so that you have practice doing the smaller things before I require you to do the larger things. We also do peer reviews and some group activities, group discussions, to make sure that you can collaborate. All right, so for the class, we have essays and then lower stakes assignments and the final exam. So the final exam is worth 40% of your final grade, and that is actually not a final exam in the traditional sense of questions and answers, but a portfolio of your work. So your essays, as you see, and some of your low stakes assignments will be included in a portfolio of your work, and that will be the final exam. So all 8 weeks, 7 weeks, you are working towards that final exam. And so the better your original essays are, the better that final exam, that final portfolio will be. That is how the final exam can be such a large portion of your grade. Then we have the basic calendar of things going on. You will write a rhetorical analysis essay that'll be 1,000 to 1,500 words in MLA format. Then you will try to do your own persuasive writing in a definition argument essay, which will be 1,000 to 1,500 words. And it will further explore some of the ideas that you found in the rhetorical analysis essay. Then you'll have an introductory essay, which can also be a form of rhetorical analysis in that you go back and you look at the things that you wrote this semester. That introductory essay will be featured as the beginning part of your portfolio, your final portfolio. You will not only give me an oral presentation of your author biography, but you will also present your definition argument essay. Those will be in a video format. Some of the low stakes assignments will be the author biography, which will be a really brief introduction to yourself, very professional introduction to yourself that you will use at the end of your portfolio, and that hopefully you can save to use later. We'll also have formal outlines for each essay, the Toolman model, which is another type of outline. And then, of course, the final exam will be that portfolio I've been talking about. The introductory reflective essay, then a process writing exhibit, which will include some of those lower stake assignments, 2 revised essays, that you have written, rhetorical analysis essay and the definition essay, and then a wild card, which could be work from other class with an explanation of how it pertains to 101, and then your author biography. In the foundational English classes at our university, we use these 2 rubrics, one for written communication and another for oral communication. This is called a holistic rubric. It is not point for point. It doesn't have 100 points available on there. However, it gives a general excellent, above average, or competent or unsatisfactory rating for each of these 5 categories. And these are the things that I will use to grade your essays and your oral presentations. All these assignments help to track your progress throughout the semester, and they indicate your willingness to collaborate with others in the class. The goal is to demonstrate development toward a mastery of 5 core strands of communication we already talked about in the description of this class: written, oral, visual, electronic, and nonverbal. These goals will be discussed throughout the course. While the final interpretation and assignment of grades remains my responsibility, the work that earns that grade falls entirely on you. Grades will be assigned using a holistic departmental rubric like I had posted above, according to how well your essay demonstrates good form and style. You're expected to work conscientiously on all drafts. All these things that you turn in count for something. Even though it's a very low stakes assignment, everything counts for something, and I encourage you to take even the small things seriously. Graded essays are usually returned within a week. The thing right here in italics is in italics because it may be shocking to some of you. So trigger warning, final grades will not be rounded. I have really had some students be unhappy about this in the past, but I warn you right now, first day of class, I warn you that this is part of being in my particular class. I do not round final grades. That means if you get an 89.9, I consider that to be a B. I think it's more fair. So if someone who got an 89.9, if I add 0.1 to their grade, I believe in my heart to go back and add a 0.1 to every other student's grade, because that student got that 0.1 for free. And everyone should be able to have that same opportunity. I have curved essay grades, or I have curved quiz grades, or low stakes assignments. I give grace for the entire class. That is basically written in stone in my class. I will not round final grades. So work hard. I will give grace in many scenarios leading up to that. All right, so an A is, we're on a 10-point scale. An A is a 90 to 100, a B is 80 to 89%. So we're a typical 10-point scale in my class. Students may set up a meeting with me to discuss your progress, but do not talk about grades in a public manner, and don't ask me to either. Students will practice reading various forms of arguments through the following textbooks and resources, as well as supplementary readings chosen by the instructor and posted into Canvas modules. In our class, I am requiring The Everyday Writer by Andrea Lunsford. Our department has tried to reduce costs by making many things available online, and they have encouraged us not to require a textbook unless we feel it absolutely necessary, and I do feel this one absolutely necessary. If you can find an ebook, you're welcome to buy that instead. And then also my syllabus is a required reading. Of course, in a web-based class, there are general expectations that you will be able to upload, download, and have general computer skills. You'll be able to type things, that you'll be able to email me things, or that you can actually load those files to Canvas or download my files or click links. If you have issues with that, you will need to perhaps contact the Center for Student Success. You'll need to be able to check your emails and reply to those emails. I ask that you do so in a professional manner. So if you are sending me a Canvas message, it doesn't necessarily have to be as professional in this online class setting, because there will be so many of them. If you need any technical support, you can contact IT under the following website. And if you have issues with Canvas, Canvas handles some of those, and so you can use the help button on Canvas for a lot of your questions. They are so detailed and helpful. And if you can't find that, then perhaps you can contact the Center for Innovation and Digital Learning here at AU. We have disabilities and academic adjustments policy listed in Canvas. If you believe yourself to need perhaps what you may have called in high school an IEP, I highly recommend that you do so, and do so very soon, not just for my class, but especially for any other classes. I know that other classes do more testing and things like that. So just know that that is available to you in college as well, and not just in high school. If you withdraw from my class, which I hope you don't, but if you do, if you withdraw past that first date, then you will get a W on your transcript, and it will just be, on your record that you quit the class. And it will stay that way until you take the class again, or, to change your grade. So academic honesty and integrity are big topics. We expect that you would not plagiarize, fabricate, cheat, or any other sort of academic misconduct. The policy, process, and penalties for academic dishonesty are described in the student handbook. You can find that on our website. Plagiarism is a serious offense. I will give grace because this is your first college class, but the buck stops here. Okay, so I want to be absolutely sure before you pass my class that you will not plagiarize. Since plagiarism or avoiding plagiarism is such a huge part of what we do in English 101 and foundational English classes in general, and just making sure that you know this is your last training ground. And so I take it very seriously. We will talk through how to avoid plagiarism, and there are also pages in your textbook required for this class that give tips on avoiding plagiarism. In order to keep our group discussions feeling a little bit more personal, I would prefer that you do not record or copy any of our discussions from class or any of my content from Canvas unless you have asked me first, just so that we can be more candid in our discussions. You can see my grading policy for our attendance, due dates, and late work. Basically, what I'm asking from you is that you communicate. If you have something going on and you really need to turn something in, or you are maybe a day late and you have the assignment completed, but you just didn't get it turned in at the midnight deadline, please turn it in. Canvas will tell me that it was late, but it's up to me whether or not I grade it. And so I'd much rather see on there that you just, turned it in at 6 a.m. or whatever, instead of you just not turning it in and get a 0. 0 is a really rough grade to bring up. So please turn in, even if it's late, turn it in, and I will then make the call on how late it is, whether or not I will accept that. I would rather you make the deadline. I'd rather you turn it in on time so that we don't have to have that discussion of why it was late or anything like that. But please just go ahead and turn it in. The nature of our class and how assignments build up to your final exam, it's just very important for me to be able to see all your work, instead of you just saying, oh, well, I wasn't going to get it done in time anyway, and then that essay knocks off points for your final exam, and it's worth 40% of your grade. I can potentially give it a 0. I mean, it kind of depends on your circumstances, but I really don't do that often, especially in our online classes, and especially in a class like this that builds on itself. And Canvas is a great place to save your work, so even if you don't get the grade for it, if you've done it, it's nice to have that backup. Please back up your work. You are allowed to turn in assignments early, but if you turn it in too early, then we probably won't have covered in class the material that pertains to that assignment. And so turn it in the week that it's due, at least, even if I assign it on Sunday and you turn it in on Monday. Sometimes I'll revise the course schedule. I try not to do that to you. I try to keep everything on exactly what the syllabus says and exactly how Canvas is set up. Be sure to check your Canvas notification settings to be sure that it's updating you on any changes that are made to our course, so that if I do change something, you get that notification. And I tend to also send out an announcement on Canvas that sometimes will go to your Canvas and sometimes will go to your university email. The Thrift Library is a fantastic resource. The librarians there are well trained and fully qualified to help you with any research. They may overwhelm you with how much they know. Our library website is fantastic. We also have the Bunton Lab, which is located in Thrift Library on the second floor of Thrift Library, which is a computer lab. If you do not have full access to your computer, or if you have computer problems, going to the Bunton Computer Lab and being able to work on it is great. That's one reason I suggest using Google Docs for your work. So if you have your work on Google, then and your computer crashes, then you can go somewhere else and use a different computer for the same work. I also recommend the Writing and Multimedia Center. The Writing Center is a wonderful place to get another look at your work. They have drop-in hours. You can make an appointment. I do encourage you to make an appointment. But they do have drop-in hours. You can take your work and ask them specific questions about how to help you. One of the best parts of Anderson University is the Center for Student Success. I highly recommend that you be familiar with where they are, especially if you feel like you might need extra services, as in, if you had an IEP in high school, or and if you think you might need one here, any sort of academic assistance you might need. And they also sometimes have some study skills seminars, so you can find them at that phone number or their website. I definitely recommend this last list of places. These are the things that help you succeed here at AU outside of my reach. So I will do all that I can to help you succeed in this class and to go by our syllabus as clearly as possible. And outside of this class, these are fantastic resources for you to be successful.